Welcome to the Big Week in Gaming podcast. And what do you know? It's been a big week in gaming. I'm Intergot for this on-demand episode on Friday, the 23rd of February, 2024. Why am I saying I'm Intergot again?
That's, we're newbies at this.
I almost Ron Bergen did that. I almost just read it for whatever we write. I'm Intergot, and I'm joined again today by...
Swinny.
What? Look at how the intro is written. We've gone bare bones in the production, and I don't know why we've written this twice.
Well, the question is, do you need a written prepared intro?
Not really, but when I was reading it, it was throwing me off then because I'm like, why did I say that?
That's what I'm thinking. I think if you just didn't even have anything to look at and just winged it and just changed it up each time, you'd probably be just like, oh yeah, that's easier.
Oh yeah, and by the way, because I do a lot of presentation with my work, including very, very, very senior people, I never script anything. I see people do that. They'll come in with a script. And I'm like, that's horrible. I don't know. I get people get nervous and stuff, but I don't agree with that.
Yeah, public speaking or presenting specifically is so weird because I remember being terrified of the concept back in high school. And then just one day, or not one day, but it's I guess maybe one presentation I had to do. I think it was in year 12 or something. Something just clicked about it. I'm like, this is easy. For me, at the time, and I was I was surprised by it because I didn't think I would ever be comfortable with that. And then suddenly it's man, the amount of times I've completely winged presentations in uni and stuff just because it's all about confidence, man.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with you, and you never take a compliment well, but you're an incredibly smart and quite clever person in terms of your word usage, and your written word is amazing. And I think it's you can be extremely witty on the fly. Well, I mean, witty means on the fly, but you know what I mean? You can be quite witty. So I think as long as you are just leaning into who you are, you'll be fine, right?
Thank you.
And to me, my persona is I'd be a bit of a dickhead, but lean into it. And people think that's funny because they kind of know the vibe that I'm giving off. But I am going to change this because it's going to throw me out next time. But again, on demand. It feels like every fortnight we're on demand.
Well, it's just there's been
things have been happening.
It's been a very busy week. Probably the biggest
month, the biggest quarter,
the biggest news week in gaming, probably, or easily of the year, I think.
Oh yeah, easy.
So much going on, and so many, specifically in February, so many notable releases.
Oh, mega games coming out. Surprise hits. Helldivers 2, people were a bit but that's hitting really hard.
Yeah, just the fact that you had the double hitter in the same week of Dragon Infinite Wealth and Persona 3, both from Sega, both in the same, hitting above 90 on Metacritic, these big hitters. And it's only kind of gonna get crazy for the next month, I think, especially Final Fantasy 7, which, I mean, the reviews coming out of for Rebirth
93, so right?
Yeah, so seems like they've knocked that out of the park again.
Can I ask, have they officially confirmed that's a trilogy?
Yes, they have.
Oh, they have?
Yeah, they definitely confirmed it. That's
what I thought.
Yeah, I can't remember if they confirmed it before the very first trailer for Rebirth or not, or if it was around the same time, but they definitely confirmed it's 3 parts.
Yeah. Because I heard, I listened to the Sacred Symbols, so there's a PlayStation podcast, and they're very knowledgeable. And they were sort of saying, oh, is it going to be 3 or could it be 4? And I was almost 100% certain it's a trilogy now. And yeah. So, and I'm just checking online. Yeah, it definitely is a trilogy. So.
Yeah. So.
But yes, we did want to get together. It's funny, we don't actually have anything about Xbox on the agenda, even though, I mean, just really briefly at the top, there have been, because they had the presentation, we reacted to that, had a bit of a discussion. But I think the richness was almost in the written word, in some of the interviews that Sarah Bond did, and I was gonna say Phil Collins, Phil Spencer,
Xbox is in the ads.
X3 Collins. You know what I mean? Like, I think there was a lot of stuff in there, like pretty much straight up confirming that there's going to be a next gen console as well.
Yeah, so
Which I'm like, what? Like,
which
what?
which we were, you know,
Adamant
both,
that wasn't going to happen. Yeah.
yeah, we were both assuming there wouldn't be, so we might be wrong on that front.
But also, why did they not say that in the?
So
they are the most frustrating company for me.
I went back and watched because I'm like, wait, we missed when we went. So what we missed, right, was the line about and future hardware that signify the biggest technical leap or whatever, right? We were talking about something. We were laughing about something at the same time that Sarah Bond said that, but she said it so quickly.
Yeah,
that
as a throwaway.
Yeah, so it was very quick, but it was mentioned, and I specifically wanted to see when we were reacting to that video podcast
how we missed it.
How we missed it, because we were so adamant. Like, you haven't said anything about the next gen of console or whatever. So we definitely missed that one. So that's on us. So
yeah, but you heard her words say this because there's the official transcript, which is not always true.
Versus... Oh no, yeah, no. She said it, but she said it so quickly, and it was almost just as an aside, because it was on the back of. I think it was something like we were talking about the whole streaming stick thing.
Yeah.
Because that was they
like
said
a unique twist coming in this year.
They've got a hardware announcement coming by the end of the year, and then we're talking like blah blah blah, and she mentioned it while we're talking. And I've learned, like, we're not broadcasting professionals by any means, right? But we have done at this point, like, God knows, like over 150 podcasts across different stuff I've done, and that was almost like the first time I listened to the audio, and the idea of reacting to an audio thing
it's challenging.
It is quite, and so I'm like, okay, now I kind of know that, like, to like not try to talk over the audio, and it's like, so you learn lessons, you know. Sometimes you miss stuff, and we miss that. So.
I think the challenge is, if you're a streamer, you're like listening, then pausing, and then commenting all the time, and really rarely talking over the content. But I think we were getting a bit like, we're going to pause too many times. Like, it felt like it was going to go on for ages. I don't know about you, but I felt that. And I was also, it's not like I was working that day when we were doing it. So I was also like, I can probably squeeze in 40 minutes or so, but not longer than that. So it was probably like smarter if we just actually watched it and then kind of ran over some of the major points. But yeah, we always own up to where we, where we got it wrong.
And I was going to mention a couple of the Xbox stuff when we get to the Nintendo Direct, because off
off
the back of that, then we got official confirmation on the PlayStation side as well. So
a splash screen in one instance.
Yeah, before we jump into that, I did this once before, and I thought I'd do it again on the show. So I have something with me that I want to taste test on air right now.
Okay.
Which is...
Have you ever tasted it before?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Which is the Mega Man G Fuel Blue Bomber Slushy.
Gamer Fuel.
Thankfully, zero sugar.
Is it fresh?
Well, I mean, I got it last night, so who knows how long it spent on a barge to make it to
that's fresh.
Servo,
that's fresh.
The servo in Point Cook. I don't live in Point Cook, but the servo in Point Cook that I grabbed.
You're doxing everyone here.
Hey, specifically clarified, I don't live in Point Cook.
And then you go, or do I?
although I do, I like Point Cook. All right, let me do some ASMR first.
Oh yeah, I'm interested. Right. Just for the audio listeners, he's about to open. Ooh.
Oh, actually got shit on the microphone.
But that was a money shot. That was a good one. Now he's rubbing his microphone with tissues that are conveniently on near his computer.
Oh, come on. All right.
He's tasting it for the audio listeners. He's reacting. And what's the verdict?
That's actually not bad.
That's a good G Fuel.
It's better than the PewDiePie juice one.
You don't rate PewDiePie's juice.
I think what was the other one? I've had I think a Crash Bandicoot one before. By the way, G Fuel is not like a normal thing you see in a shop over in
No, not in
Australia.
Australia. I've never seen G Fuel ever.
It's just this specific server that happens to just like
They have G Fuel.
they just sell all these American shit that isn't in our normal supermarkets.
Oh, really? That's kind of cool,
Yeah.
actually. Like in Australia, we have like one of the highest strangleholds of like supermarkets. We've got like 2 supermarkets. That's it, basically.
So and look, I mean, this was $6.50, right? Now it's a servo. It's a servo drink, right? So you probably expect like a normal brand of energy drink to be like $5. So this is obviously
that's probably fair, actually.
All right.
So although we do have Prime, I remember when Prime just came out, I was shocked to see it at like Woolies and Coles. I was like, wow. And they just had pallets because people would just rip it off, rip it apart otherwise.
Yeah, no, Prime's interesting because you've got the like the energy drink part, which you don't get in our supermarkets. You can get it in like servos and stuff, but then you've got just like the sports drink version, which
hydration.
That's the one they're selling in the supermarkets at the moment.
But it's not even a sports drink; it's just a soft drink, alternative.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of that stuff,
Oh, but like Gatorade actually does have a sport utility, whereas Prime doesn't.
What's wild about that Prime drink though? It's got so much shit in it. It's like you'd expect. You look at the back and you're like, there is so much shit in here that I don't even know what this is. It's kind of insane.
It doesn't like we're going like way off chat here, but it's got heaps of crap, but then it doesn't have the right formulation. It's got a lot of potassium, not sodium, so it's actually not good for hydration if you exercise. So it's just got, it's like, I don't know, just like it literally is like YouTube, TikTok, add as much buzzword stuff and make a product, and that's what they did. And they look like, from a business perspective, they're smashing it. Like they're going to be billionaires almost, these guys. So anyway, we're talking about Prime. That's what we thought we need to get together. I just remember, you know how you spilled stuff on your microphone? I basically did that last week with all. Remember when I sprayed? Like, I don't even remember why I did that.
Good old Don Matrick.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Don Matrick. So, what have we been playing? So Splatoon 3 Side Order just came out. So the Splatoon 3 single player DLC just came out.
What, like this today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Now I was going to play it tonight, but I actually was able to squeeze it in last night. So it's like a tower rogue-like mode for Splatoon, where you get these chips, and a bit like with Hades, right? You can kind of like add your runes and have certain powers and all those kind of things. It's really like, I don't know if Nintendo's done a roguelike before. I can't think of one, to be honest. And I am the Nintendo expert. So, but anyway, it's really good fun, and it's so interesting when these things come out and people's reception of it, as if it's like there is one opinion about a game. E.g., like I saw this with Returnal. Like people are like, Returnal is not a hard game. Like I beat Returnal on my 5th go. It's not a hard game. And then other people are like, I can't beat Returnal. It's way too hard. It's ridiculous. And it's just a situation of like, yeah, for maybe the average person, Returnal is on the harder side. For some people, it's not going to be hard, but it's super relative, like how you are with these things. And I'm seeing this already with this game. Some people are like, this game's ridiculous. It's too hard for Splatoon standards. And then other people are like, it's way too easy. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I think it's really different. I'm not, I don't know. I need more time with it, but it's like a really interesting direction to go into. Like having it as like a roguelike. And it's also, by the way, inspired by Final Fest, like the last Splatfest for Splatoon 2. So it was Order versus Chaos, and whoever won, that was going to be basically the DLC in Splatoon 3.
For some reason, when he said Final Fest, I thought it was like, I was imagining a Splatoon based on Fighter Fest. Like somehow they're like, it's like, oh no, all the tents. You can't sleep in the tents.
But like playing it, and man, I have to say one thing, like the art direction is off the charts. Like it's so good. Like I really do think they need to have a spin-off series from Splatoon. It's so freaking good. It's so popular in Japan. I'm not going to be shocked if they have a spin-off series, but yeah, I want to play it a bit more, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And then yeah, like because I beat Celeste 60, it was called Celeste 64, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember if I had a subtitle at all, but
I don't think
yeah,
so.
no, it was
It made
Celeste
me actually
64.
go, oh, I probably should go and play Celeste.
Hmm.
So I'm about halfway through Celeste and
Oh,
loving it.
well.
It's really good. Like I think the thing is like I'm not going crazy on collecting all the strawberries because I started to
Hmm.
do that, and I'm like I can see how what they've done here. It's like levels and levels and levels of challenges. It's like
Yeah.
I could spend like hours just trying to beat one single chapter. So I'm kind of like I'll go have a run through the game. I'm enjoying it so far, and it's good balance. It's not like too heavy on the story. Like there's definitely a story element to it, but it's like I get very like over it. Like if it's too obnoxious, but it's a
Hmm.
pretty interesting story so far in a way, right? It's more of a
Yeah,
vibe for me so far, I guess I should say.
yeah. Celeste is interesting. I've watched so much Celeste, but when it comes time to actually play it, I play it and I get through, and I always like start from the start each time because it's like a year later I'll try it
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
and I'll get through like 10, 15 levels, and then I'll be like, put it down and then like forget. And then I'll be like, oh, I need
yeah.
to start from the start so I can relearn the mechanics. And then I think I've done that probably 4 times at this point. So
So when you say 10 levels, do you mean like 10 screens, not 10 chapters,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
probably
yeah.
like 10 streams.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what? It's a really interesting way to say it. It's like it's not a Moorish game for me.
Mm,
Like Mario Wonder, I could have just kept on playing that. I was almost like, I got to put this down. Same as like Splatoon 3 Side Order. I was like, I just want to do another run, like Returnal. I got to keep playing
mm,
it. Whereas Celeste, I've been playing it on and off for the last week, and I just forget about it. And when I start
mm.
playing it, it's not that I think it's bad. I think it's like extremely high quality. But for whatever reason, I'm not like it's actually very much like Meat Boy for me. Whereas Meat Boy is
Mm.
like great, but I don't get addicted to it where I'm like, oh man, I gotta play more of that game. So yeah, but it's been pretty decent so far. One thing I wanted to flag, because I've been playing hell of a lot of PlayStation Portal,
Mm.
is that both my PlayStation Portal and my DualSense are creaking on the joystick. So they're not
Creep.
drifting. Yes, creaking. So like I mean that word. Like if I do a clockwise rotation starting from like the west coordinate, right? So
Mm.
start from west, go all the way around, my joystick will go like when I hit around past north. Like every single time. Like only in that way. If I go anti-clockwise, nothing. If I go
And you said
clockwise, it does.
two controllers were doing this? Did you say?
Both of them are doing it. Like the play, well, in a way, for me, worse the PlayStation Portal because it's like a whole unit. It's not like I can just
Mm.
replace the whole freaking thing. And then yeah, the DualSense. I'm like, man, this is so annoying. And it's not like where I'm positioning it. It's not where it's like being bent or anything. It's just, I think it's just the precursor to getting drift on these controllers, which is fucking annoying to be
But
honest.
you just got the portal though.
Yeah, but dude, like it's like you just got the DualSense and it
Yeah,
stuffed up straight away.
that's true. That's
But
true.
it kind of just goes back to this thing of like, I still have my 64 controllers, and I'm not saying like they're the best quality now, but they're
Mm.
not broken. And I played more of it in a way than I have with these controllers. Like, what the hell's up with these controllers, man? They
Yeah,
break so easy.
with the 64 controllers, over time they would kind of feel
Yeah,
looser,
they get loose. They get
but they
loose.
wouldn't really drift, or at least the ones
No,
that I had.
no, no.
They wouldn't feel great to use because they'd feel
Yeah,
like they're almost going to fall apart, even though they're probably fine.
but they never broke in my experience. Like, I never
Mm,
felt like, oh, this is not playable. So I don't know. I was just flagging that because it was pissing me off. But I am really enjoying the Portal. Like I think
mm,
I said it to a few people, but when you play the Portal, it feels like you're not playing on game mode on the TV. Like you got like
mm.
all your settings wrong, and there's a bit of a like lag and stuff. But I think if you play it a bit, you just kind of get used to it, and it's like you kind of don't even notice it. Like once you get into
Mm.
it, and definitely if you played Rocket League or like anything twitchy, which I play a lot of stuff like that. But outside of those games, it's like, like I was playing Genshin Impact, and I was
Mm.
like, this is like super playable on the Portal.
Yeah, for me, like I've mentioned it before, but especially when we were talking about when they launched the Xbox Cloud stuff, was when you got games that just like menu based, like your RPGs and stuff, they're kind of perfect for that because you don't.
Yeah,
It doesn't really matter for that. But the one thing that gets me is if the connection on the audio is a little iffy, because as soon as you've got like music playing, if there's any interruption in that, that's what it's like gets me. So it's almost like if I had a game that played well, but every now and then the audio was a bit choppy, I'd almost probably just turn the music off, kind of situation. So.
I haven't had many or if any noticeable issues with audio. It's been pretty good. I know some people can, but I've got like an ideal setup. So no, it's been really good. And it's funny with my son, my eldest son, he actually prefers to grab the Portal than to turn on the PlayStation 5 and play it on the TV. Like he just wants to play it on the Portal version, which I'm like, that's kind of an interesting thing, you know?
It's that tablet mentality, man.
It is. It really is. Just like that's preferred. Like it does show you a bit of like human, just like, because we've been trained to play consoles. Do you know what I mean? Like we've been trained to do that. Whereas he's like open to all of those things. And I think the preference is almost like having something in front of you, you know? It's like a lot of people watch movies on their iPhone now, which I find that baffling. Like, I don't know how you can do that.
Yeah, the most, you know, obviously watch YouTube on my phone and stuff, but as soon as there's anything around like TV shows and things, I'm like, nah, I need to sit in front of a TV, man.
Yeah, no, same.
Or
I can't do it.
At minimum, a computer monitor, you know. So.
Yeah, it's. I think it becomes a bit of an age thing, but yeah. And the other thing is, you know, I don't know if you know this, but Spotify, you get like if you're in Spotify Premium, you get like 10 hours or 15 hours of audio books for free a month. Should check it out if you don't like already use it. And I noticed that there's a Resident Evil kind of like book about the history of the first 4 games. So I'm like, I'll just stop listening to it. And it's called Itchy Scratchy. And it's really good. I don't know if you've read it, but
No.
it's super entertaining. It's like really interesting. It's like a Western game developer / journalist who also speaks Japanese and interviewed all the original people and got like heaps of insights, like crazy insights. Like I was kind of shocked at like, you know, I know you know this history because you know all of this stuff in gaming, but you know, just like all the reboots that they had to do of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And how like Resident Evil 3 was not Resident Evil 3 2 months before it launched, or 2 to 3 months before it launched. It was going to be just Resident Evil 1.9 Nemesis or 2.9 Nemesis. And then they were like, no, we're going to call it 3. And they really believe that they did it only to, you know, change the share price and all this. It's really interesting shit, man. So
I still remember when the first Resident Evil came out. Like, I didn't have a PlayStation.
Yeah.
But we had a friend that had
yeah. That's what I know. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's where I played it.
Constantly talked about the first Resident Evil game, and I remember like just it was like this mythical game he was talking about. He's talking about and the rocket launcher at the end, all this kind of cool stuff, and it was just like it was like this mini phenomenon, that game, because at the time it was such a kind of, it was almost like a completely new thing, you know, like you had You're Alone in the Dark, and you had some kind of things that are along those lines, but nothing was like Resident Evil. It was just this awesome new cool thing, you know. So
yeah, I think like for me, it didn't really hit like myself. I'll say it like that. But Resident Evil and Metal Gear Solid were just like, these are like the next step in gaming. So it's like Mario 64 and Zelda, but those two in particular, because like I was never really exposed to Final Fantasy VII, but those two were like, whoa, what the hell is this? This is like insanely hectic.
And there's other games you put in this pile, but you could almost look at them as like almost like the forebearers of, hey, gaming is now also is becoming an adult thing, you know, because for so many years throughout the Atari and before, and Nintendo, Super Nintendo, it was like, okay, video games are a kid's thing. And then suddenly the PlayStation and these mature games that, you know, like were almost like movies in their own way, as much as the quality of the writing, the voice acting in Resident Evil 1 is very not great. But it was like this paradigm shift of gaming, I think. So.
Yeah. And look, you know, I think this is one thing that like is so interesting about PlayStation in Australia versus the US is that PlayStation was like $700-800 Australian. right?
Mm.
Whereas the Nintendo 64 was like 350, 400. It was like a huge difference. I remember as a
Mm.
kid, it was like, I wouldn't have minded to get like a PlayStation if I could afford it, but there's no way we could afford it, right? But did you know that in the States, basically when like the 64 came out, the PlayStation and the 64 was the same price, 199 US.
Wow.
So for them, it's like it's really just like, what do you prefer? Like PlayStation or
Mm.
64? For us, it was like, hey, I prefer PlayStation, but it's a lot more expensive. Like it is a
Mm.
lot more expensive, like almost double the price. So it kind of altered things, like over here at least for a little bit.
Well, there was also like everybody had a chipped PlayStation
Yes.
1.
Well, and Australia, I think that's also because Australia was like one of the highest levels of piracy.
It was insane. I don't
It
know
was
if we
crazy.
we may have talked about this on one of our
I think
old
so. I think
episodes, but
so.
I want to bring it up again, which was I remember going to a person's house. So it was like it wasn't I didn't know this person, but it was like I was with a friend, and I went in their living room, and they had towers and towers of
Yeah.
CD like spindles. It was just insane, and it was a whole operation of pirated PS1 games, and it
Yeah.
was just like they must have made so much money off the back of that. But everyone's like, of course, like yeah, if I can get like a game for like a few bucks, like I can get like Crash Bandicoot 3 for a couple of bucks versus actually buying it from the store. But
Yeah.
it was just like this massive operation. It's almost like just like a drug ring, but a PlayStation 1 games. It's
It
kind of
it it
insane.
is like totally insane. Like I don't think people overseas understand how crazy it was in Australia because you had a confluence of like Australia's in the Western world, very developed, but it's also very isolated.
Mm,
So and the exchange rate can go all over the place. So it was almost like the games were just way too expensive in Australia compared to America. Like there was 60 US
mm.
dollars. Over here they were like $120 in the store. And people were like they had all these CD burners, all this other kind of stuff, and it was
Mm.
just like it's so much of a difference. Like the price of pirating it versus like buying it in the store. And yeah, people went crazy. Like it was like you would stumble over people pirating PlayStation games. I remember it was insane. Like it was, and every shop would offer you like, hey, we can mod your PlayStation. Like so many shops offered,
And
we could mod your PlayStation if you want. It was crazy.
I part of me wonders, did that actually help establish that
I
brand?
think so because
Yeah.
PlayStation should not be as popular here as it is based on the pricing. So the only
Mm.
way it works is if people pirate. And it's the same as PSP. Like I don't know anyone who had a legit PSP in Australia.
Mm.
Every single person I knew who had a PSP, it was pirated. Like it was modded, so they never bought any games.
But what's crazy is, and I don't want to, I don't know, and I guess get into detail of PS2 piracy, but there was like a big shift with. I felt like a big shift with PS2 where suddenly people were buying their games more.
With
It wasn't.
PS2.
Yeah, PS2
Well,
was.
there were
It did
crackdowns.
it.
There were crackdowns on the
Yeah.
piracy stuff. Yeah.
So it's almost like they established their base with everyone's like, oh, PlayStation's cool. Like I can play all these cool like games that like movies and stuff like that, and they have FMV and cool soundtracks. And then PS2 comes out, and it's just like, man, like Tekken Tag and all these
Yeah.
awesome Smugglers Run and all these games where you're like, it was kind of, but people were buying the games, so it's like it's it's like it was almost to their benefit that they didn't actually have good piracy control for the PS1. So
Yeah, in the Australian market. So yeah, it's just kind of fascinating looking back. But yeah, Resident Evil, going back to it's like really, it's one of the seminal series in gaming for sure. And the fact that it's
mm,
still going on today, it's quite like poetic. You've got like Street Fighter continuing, Resident Evil
mm,
continuing, even Tekken, like all of these all kind of coming up in the same era.
mm,
But yeah, the book's really well written, really entertaining. Like I didn't know where it was going to go, but then it finishing around Resident Evil 4, and I was kind of a bit
mm,
bummed out because I'm like, I think the story around Resident Evil 5 and 6, and it's almost like wavering, and like, is it going to continue? And then 7, and how like what a complete change that was is like really cool. But I mean, I'm asking a lot as well, right? because it was
Well,
written contemporaneously as well. So
well, that's also what a second book's for. So.
there you go. So yeah, so the first book was called Itchy Scratchy. What would you title the second book?
Um, uh, punching a rock,
Oh, okay.
punching a boulder.
I thought you were
That's
going to
what
say something like itchier and scratchier.
No, it's gonna be Chris Redfield punching a boulder. That's what it's gonna be.
And then a game that we've both played at times, Battlefield 2042. So
Yeah,
we're trying to fuck Helldivers too. We're going for the most popular online game at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know where this all came about. I mean, I kind of know my side of it, which was I was talking to a friend of the show, Joe Jives, and he was kind of talking to me about a lot of random topics, including one Doctor Disrespect, and we're like talking about that stuff, and somehow Battlefield came up. And we're like, oh, let's play some Battlefield, and then so it's like, yeah, that game that came out almost, I don't know if it was like 2 years ago or whatever, whenever it came out, but it's just almost just like a wet fart at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it was over 2 years.
They must have done some solid work because it's turned into a pretty decent game. I still don't know if it's at the level of Magic.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well,
but I played it at launch and it was a disaster. It was horrible.
Yeah, I played it. I played at launch, but I only played like through the initial like training stuff, and something felt very off at the time for the launch version. But I mean, look, it's Battlefield. The magic is probably really comes from those unscripted moments, and having a squad of your mates that you can kind of like just have fun with. It's not the kind of game I'd probably sit down and play by myself. It's kind of the thing where you're like, let's take that point, and then all the funny vehicle shenanigans that happen.
I will say because sometimes I've been working late, not like you slackers, and like I can't get on early, and then I have zero interest in playing by myself. You know what I mean? Like online.
Yeah.
Whereas like Rocket League, I'll go, I'm happy to play it by myself because it's such an awesome game. So yeah, 100% agree. It's more just like the laughter of doing dumb shit and failing and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, look forward to playing some more. I'd like to see, apparently some of the legacy maps are in the portal mode. I'd like to play some Battlefield 3 maps again. But we'll see if that stuff ever comes up. But yeah,
fair enough.
2042. Decent game. Anything else from you?
No, that's why it was the segue. So you've just ruined the segue.
Hey, I'm just giving you a last chance before I take over.
I like how it actually has segue in it as well.
Hey, I thought I was being considerate there, but that's fine. No, so I just wanted to, a few things I've been playing. So just mentioned that I picked up Banish's Ghost of New Eden. So that's a new Don't Nod game I was excited for last time. I haven't properly given it a shot, so I can't really talk to it. It seems okay so far, but it's reviewed really well, so I'm really happy for Don't Nod because this game had like next to no marketing, no one talking about it, and the fact that it actually hit pretty well review-wise hopefully means that it got a bit more interest, because clearly they didn't have a big marketing budget, or whoever was running their marketing completely flubbed it. It's probably the former. It's a tough thing in this day and age. You need a massive marketing budget. Unless
just so many games, man.
Unless you just happen to hit the spot like Pal World, which Pal World, still had trailers at like Game Awards and stuff like that. As did Banishers, but Pal World at the time. So Pokemon with guns, and then the next year, who's another trailer for that weird Pokemon with guns game? But then it just obviously just took off. But this game, I mean, it's a story-driven RPG that's has a pretty bad title, so it's not going to unfortunately probably have that organic that reach. But it seems cool. Look forward to getting into it properly. But
yeah, I must admit I hadn't even heard of this, and I follow games more than most people, right? So yeah, it kind of just shows, I don't know, gaming is in such a weird spot at the moment where I feel like with movies and TV, I'm constantly just like, there's nothing interesting coming out. Like nothing, right? Whereas games, it's like, there's just so much shit. Like so much good stuff, sorry, is what I'm saying, right? I should be more accurate, like in the language. Otherwise, people think I actually think it's shit. It's like Helldivers 2. Everyone I hear is like, oh, it's really sick. It's super fun to play. Final Fantasy VII's coming out. You know, like we're going to talk about a certain DLC that's coming out. There's just too much fucking games coming out. Like, oh man, like games. I don't know. It's just crazy to me, actually, how much stuff's coming out.
Yeah, and the things with gaming as well, there's always the comfort games that you can return to that.
Rocket League.
Yeah, or Picross and stuff.
Yeah,
and sure, there's like there are things you can watch on TV that are comfort, like your sports and stuff that like are always a constant. But it's very different than games. Games are like, oh, I just want to sit down and just zone out for like half an hour and play a puzzle.
Sports is a better analogy than TV shows to games, because sports is kind of like forever. Like I'm a huge 49ers fan, RIP, and it's like I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll watch next season, and I'll just watch it all, consume the content around it. Whereas TV shows, it's like I'm probably the only psycho who's watched like The Wire 3 times. You know what I mean? But most people watch a show that's the only time they'll ever watch it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a very fixed amount of time. Whereas, yeah, like games, like Elden Ring, I played that for like 70 hours. I'm probably one of the least amount of played hours who's like completed it. You know what I mean? Like that's, yeah, we'll get onto it shortly, but yeah.
So I also played a bit of a game called Genso Chronicles. I'll give you one guess.
I know what it is. So I was like, I've never heard of this game. I'll Google it. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Looks like shit. And I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me this is a fucking Kemco game.
Actually, the game looks all right, but it's an older Hit Point developed game. It's weirdly, and I should have known based on the title, but it's such a generic title that I didn't even think about it. It's actually like it's almost like the first game in the Chronicles series. I talked to a game about a game called Justice Chronicles that was also on 3DS and one of the more popular Kemco games. And I load this up and like something about this seems really familiar, like way more familiar than normal for like playing a new Kemco Hit Point game. Yeah. And I'm like, I can see how this actually like ends up being like Justice Chronicles in the future and stuff like that. But yeah. So yeah, fun little RPG so far. But yeah, no, it's again like Hit Point are always really solid with that stuff. So
I go on Steam, one single solitary review. This is like when you Google something and only one result comes back. It's like what?
What's really weird about this game as well is that it's like been re-released multiple times. This was like in 2012 or something, but it's been re-released under different names.
Oh, so this is not even a new RPG. This is like
no. It's a re-release on like on modern platforms and stuff. But it's basically it's called like Mystic Chronicles or something in a different, like it's like being rebranded and kind of done, and which look, Kemco do quite a bit, but it does make actually trying to find any information about this game a bit difficult because I have to like look it up under different names and things like that. So,
yeah.
But the game I've been playing the most, which I'm not going to talk about too much because I've mentioned it so much, I will just say that again, just so much bloody Dead Island I'm seeing it in my dreams at this point. But what it's really kind of led me to was I'm really want to go back to all the 360 games that I have to clean up because there's a big
there's sickness. You got sickness, bro.
There's a big kind of movement that I'm seeing at the moment on like True Achievements and stuff of people really focusing on 360 because not only are they shutting down the digital store
that's true.
But at some point,
the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, who knows when it's going to be, but at some point there'll be a point where you can no longer unlock achievements in those games, or those achievements 100%. Can't sync to the server.
It's called the next generation of Xbox, where they shut it all down. They shut all the achievements down.
Yeah. So, but I mean,
I know what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
It's unprecedented at this point, with the exception of like the Windows Phone kind of stuff, right? So who knows when the timeline of that stuff is. So the big movement to go back to and clear up a lot of those games. And I went back and I'm like, okay, what 360 RPGs do I have left? And it's actually not a big list. A lot of them are Japanese games. So.
I know one that you have.
One of them, Enchanted Arms, the
How much
Asia
is
version.
that now trading for?
I will, you can even find a listing for it.
That means a lot.
It's that rare. Yes, that is on my list. Don't worry.
You know what? It's going to be so poetic. What the hell is the game called again?
Enchanted Arms.
Are you sure it's
also
not Enchant Arms? The
no.
version that you
So
got?
it could be under Enchanted Arms or EM Enchant Arm.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one. That's familiar to me. I remember looking for this fucking game, like EM something.
Like, well, look it up. Look it up.
Yeah. So, like, a little bit of the context here is I spent 3 hours in Hong Kong while I was in Hong Kong, 3 hours searching for a very specific version from a very specific region of game called EM Enchant Arm, which is Enchanted Arms.
All right. We got it.
I was giving a short backlog of the story.
All right, here we go. So we have three things here. We have Enchanted Arms from Software, right? We have EM Enchant Arm, the Japanese version, and we have this magical beast of EM Enchant Arm Asia version that Intergot kindly went to another country specifically to find for me.
But it did take, like, no joke, like 3 hours to try to find it.
So as part of this big cleanup,
which, by the way, like, now that I finally have played From Software games and their esteem has only grown since I did my little quest, like, that game is just going to get more and more valuable, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not a very highly regarded. It's decent, right?
Still From Soft.
It's of the time. It was very early launch 360. But I actually went on a buying spree of random 360 games this week to get second copies of a bunch of games. So
what?
I got a second copy of was it Kingdom Under Fire? I got a second copy of Dungeon Siege 3, and like they're all like $5 on eBay. So I'm like, oh, this is sweet, right? It's not like I'm spending a lot of money. It's because I've got a backup. I've got a backup so I can, if I need to like co-op with myself.
Oh my god!
I've got a backup.
I've got a backup. Now it makes sense. The insanity.
So yes. Anyway, so that's where my Dead Island insanity has led me to, is like, okay, I need to get back to the Xbox 360, and also right. Playing so much Dead Island, which is a janky-ass game that looked kind of bad at the time, it's like my brain is now readjusted to like 720p, 30 frames a second gaming. So I'm like, while my mind has adjusted to this,
my body is ready.
My body is adjusted to this like early HD era gaming. I should jump on those older games so I don't feel the whiplash of going like from like current gen to the old games and stuff. So
yeah, I think you're right. You can't even fucking find a copy of this game that you've got.
No, you can usually like find the
Japanese one,
an empty listing on like PlayAsia. That's
that's the only thing.
Yeah, I had that game like marked down, like remind me when this is available on PlayAsia for like 5 years until you were able to find it.
Because wait, is this like the Korean version?
Yes, but it's also kind of covers some of the other Asia countries as well. So it's like it's weird. Some of those games they just bundle under the term Asia. It's so generic, but I guess it's like, you know, the Japanese version or NTSC-J version and then like Asia version.
Interesting.
The only other stuff I just wanted to bring up were these little two tidbits. So first is the beta of Final Fantasy XIV is live on Xbox, but there's a weird caveat. I can't play it at the moment.
Oh, yeah, because you did say that you're like, goodbye, fair world.
So, no, well, that was before I realized I can't play it.
Yeah, no, that's why it's even funnier now that I know that.
Yeah, if you'd already linked your... if you already have a Square Enix account that's downloaded or purchased the previous trial of Final Fantasy XIV, which I did on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
You can't play the beta. It's got to be a brand new account. It's got to be a completely brand new account. So
because it's got the trial, because Final Fantasy 14, you have it's like a very generous trial, right? From memory.
Oh, massive trial.
But you've burnt that effectively on PlayStation 5.
No, it's because it's specifically the something about the beta has to be a new account or something. It's a weird thing to do with the beta, but once the beta's finished, they said it's going to go into full release, and then at that point, anybody doesn't matter. Then anybody can play it. So
Yeah. Okay.
I am looking forward to getting into it. I've got to find myself a nice table so I can set up a mouse and keyboard for my.
Oh, you're gonna play
Xbox.
mouse and keyboard?
Well, I think you have to with an MMO. Like at that point,
I
the
don't
amount of hotkeys and stuff. Look, I'm sure it translates pretty well to controller, but I think if I get used to mouse and keyboard right away, then it'll make it easier. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not an MMO person, but the story's meant to be fantastic in Final Fantasy XIV. So
We have this documented now. Like, we might need to come back to this moment in time. The moment we lost Swinny.
yes, well, that's why I'm like, goodbye, my
I'm not
friends.
into MMOs.
And the last thing I want to mention before we get into any other news is I don't care about the WWE games, right? I don't care about them, but some funny, humorous news came out this week, or
Yeah.
a combination news. So we talked the other week about, the whole Vincent Mann allegations and
Yeah,
everything, and
it's
the fact
crazy.
that Brock Lesnar's tied up into that. But don't worry, I'm not going to be talking too much about it.
No, let's get into it.
Brock Lesnar has been removed as a playable character from
No,
WWE, from the
really?
newest game. Apparently he's
Really?
in, because they've got this history WrestleMania mode. Apparently he's in that mode, but he's not a playable character. At least that's what they've announced at this point.
Wow.
But you know who was announced as a future playable DLC?
Not Vince McMahon.
No.
You know
Vince
that would have been possible.
Vincent Mann's also not in the game, so we don't know whether or not he was planned to be. So we're not getting Brock Lesnar, but we're getting Post Malone as a DLC character in WWE. So
I mean, this is how dumb it's getting. It's it's not surprising. I know you don't follow NBA, but when they had Kevin Durant is now an operator in Call of Duty Warzone, I was like, what? Kevin Durant? The NBA. It's like Michael Jordan's in there. It's like, what? Why? It's fucking weird.
I just love that the duality of, you're not getting Brock Lesnar, one of the most famous heavyweight combat athletes or whatever. You're getting Post Malone, the rapper.
But because of the allegations, right? They took him out. Are you saying?
So that's what everyone's saying, because otherwise, why would you take Brock Lesnar out? I mean,
exactly.
He was apparently meant to be a recent Royal Rumble, whatever, but obviously everything that happens, I think they've canned all that.
And there's a Rock. I like how this is becoming a wrestling podcast with one person who knows nothing about wrestling. But I thought The Rock was getting all back involved in WWE.
Yeah, he is. He's
bad timing on his part.
He's turned heel. He's back to he's basically
heel.
He's basically corporate Rock at the moment, because in real life he's on the board of TKO. So then
that's what I'm saying. That's real. Playing that that's into real.
They're playing that into the storyline, because it was basically, I don't want to get too into it, but I'll basically say there was a lot of outcry of it was going to be Rock versus Roman Reigns. And because...
Yeah, and they're saying it's not fair, right?
No, there's a 2-year storyline of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. So basically the reversed course, whether or not that was the original plan or not, they worked everyone, who knows? Anyway, that's the Rock is funny heel Rock at the moment. So yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
He's a very extremely charismatic guy.
Yes. So, yes, look forward to not playing Post Malone in WWE 2K24.
2K24. A great segue into the first thing we wanted to chat about, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Yes.
So the first trailer dropped, implying there's going to be multiple trailers.
Yes.
We know how much it's going to cost? 55 Australian dollars.
Damn, if a lot of people are going to spend 55 Australian dollars on this bloody thing.
Damn, that's a lot of money on a DLC. And then it's coming out 21st of June. Not too far away.
Yeah, so later than I anticipated, and later than what some of the reports. There were apparently other reports that were saying June that I never saw, so...
I only saw that a day or two before. Something came on my feed where it was look at this special edition, 21st of June. I'm like, fuck off, man. I hate getting spoilers.
so I know a lot about this, but I don't know how much you want me to share.
So I did watch the trailer. I said I wasn't going to watch the trailer. Look, I think I'll say this straight up. I'm sure that this DLC is going to be better than most games. And I am forecasting here, this is Intergot calling it 7:48 p.m. Australian time, that people will have a massive discussion whether this could be considered Game of the Year.
It's an interesting one because you had that discussion probably to a lesser extent last year with Phantom Liberty. You had a lot of people
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah.
Phantom Liberty being put up in lists, and it's like, oh, hey, that doesn't qualify and things. And it's weird because in the past you had big expansions of like Oblivion and Shivering Isles and all that people would kind of probably treat on the level of a full game, you
Yeah.
know. Um, it's look, this is a mammoth DLC. Like they've shared some details around the size and stuff like that. It's it's going to be a beast.
Mm.
And it's also what's really interesting. So you had the trailer, which obviously had a lot of cool stuff in it. Like whoever edits these Elden Ring trailers, whether or not it's Bandai Namco or FromSoft,
I think it's
man,
got Miyazaki's hands on it, right?
it's whoever edits these, man, like give that person a bloody bonus because it's just so the way they like time the music,
Yeah,
the
yeah, like
big
the
beats,
rhythm of it.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
crescendos,
Bam, ba da 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 da. Yeah, I know. It's like a
and
Hollywood movie. It fully
and
is.
also the way they do the camera movement, because if you play that same thing in the game and it looks cool, but it like doesn't look like trailer cool, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what I'm super excited about, without spoiling anything, is the fact that this is heavily focused around Mikola, which is a central character that was very mysterious from Elden Ring. That
Mm.
everyone's like, when they released that first promotional art for Shadow of the Erd Tree, they're like, that looks like it could be Mikola. So I'm glad that everyone was on the money with that.
Yeah.
It is interesting how you access the DLC. I don't know if you want to talk
I
about that or not.
I so I watched the trailer and I'm
Mhm.
like, wait a second. I think I'm guessing what they're gonna do here.
It's
Which yeah, explain.
so
And again, if people want to skip, blah blah blah, like probably
yeah.
skip like 15 minutes or whatever.
So it's confirmed that to access the DLC, you need to have basically beaten a pretty late game
Yeah.
boss by the name of Moog, in an optional area, as well as apparently beaten one of the major story bosses, which is Radahn.
Oh,
So
okay.
once basically that's some two pretty big hurdles if you need to start a new game to play this.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, like if you play through a game before, you know where to go, you know what to kind of skip is probably not going to give you much value and stuff. But like I'm sitting here thinking I'm really happy I didn't go into New Game Plus right now because now I don't have to beat Moog again.
So I weirdly enough have beaten Moog. So I have beaten Moog.
Yeah, I knew you'd beat Moog.
And then
Yeah.
Radahn, you have to beat Radahn. So
You can skip Radahn in the main game.
oh, can you? Have I skipped Radahn?
No, you would have done Radahn. But
Oh,
look,
okay.
most people aren't going to skip Radahn because he's a pretty pivotal like boss and stuff. But technically, you don't need to beat Radahn to get through Elden Ring.
How do you spell Radahn? I'm trying to look for it.
Radhan.
Rad.
Hmm.
It's not coming up. Don't know what's going on here. Oh, okay, yeah, here it goes. So okay, I definitely beat Radahn.
Yeah.
You can skip Radahn. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, because with basically the Great Runes, I think you only need 2 Great Runes to be able to access the capital. And at that point, you can get 4. There's 4 Great Runes available, which is like Rykard, Renala, Godric, and Radahn. So basically, the way that, like, we're not going to be talking about the main game, but the way they structure the progression of main game is really smart with that in that regard. But with this DLC, like that's pretty far.
Before we move on, because what I thought the way you access it, because they said something about Melania, blah blah blah, right? And they're saying something about her in the trailer from memory, and I was like, wait a second, do you have to go through like that area to access it? I was like, I actually thought it was really funny. I was like, this is kind of funny because I haven't beaten her. I haven't even seen her yet, right? And I was like, oh, this is funny. I have to go beat her to get into the DLC.
No, but I think that like that, Melania and Mikola are like brother and sister, very connected in the lore. So I think it is. And look, there's that if all those big bosses are very important. But what's really cool about this, I mean, we got pretty much a brand new demigod character in I think it's Mesmer, I think it is, the Impaler, which is really, really cool. And there's obviously all the lore people are out there like, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? But I mean,
Yeah.
there were interviews with Miyazaki specifically saying, clarifying things, and
Mm.
it's kind of wild. There's like entirely new weapon categories. There's like over 10 bosses in this DLC. Like apparently there's like super bosses that they say are on the level of Melania and stuff. So it's wild. Like this is going to be bloody awesome.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, because I mean, again, spoilers, skip ahead, blah blah blah. But they're like, what are they saying? I mean, you're all over this stuff, but they're saying like the map is like bigger than Limgrave.
Yeah, so
But you
it's
can't trust Miyazaki with this shit. Like he also said Elden Ring, the story is like 30 hours.
well also
It's like, no, it's not. No one beat
are
it in
we
30 hours.
are we including the Weeping Peninsula as part of that Limgrave
Yeah, yeah,
size,
yeah, yeah. So it's going to
and
be massive. It's going to be like, you feel like it's going to be a third of what Elden Ring was, some ballpark like that, maybe bigger.
yeah, and I love the concept, and not that it's like a novel or anything, but it's almost like Link to the Past in terms of this is like a dark world. It's not
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
dark
yeah,
world
yeah, yeah,
version
yeah.
of,
Well, it's
but
Shadow. It's like that
it's
Jungian kind of concept, right?
exactly, and that's
Yeah.
why it has like a veil over like the Erd Tree kind of look. It's because it's like hidden away. It's really, really cool. Man, like they're just imagine the amount of money they're gonna make off this thing. It's insane. Like how far from Soft have come just from like just
Oh,
making
yeah.
great games, man.
I think it's like definitely like the Shadow wording is to me more like around the Jungian concept,
Hmm.
like that unconscious other aspect of your ego.
Hmm.
So I think they're totally playing off with that. And that also makes sense in terms of what's the name again? Michaelia or whatever. And
Mikola.
That's right. And Melania, like Shadow, Ego. Yeah, I think it's, yeah. Look, the thing is, like, I look at it and I go, I have massive sticker shock. I'm like, not saying it's not worth $55.
Hmm.
Like, let me be clear. But I'm also just like, I've got so much Elden Ring to play. I've got like a DLC worth of Elden Ring to play already. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm actually going to play this day one now,
Oh,
to be
look,
honest.
that's fair enough. What was the other thing I want to mention? That's right. So Miyazaki also mentioned that they're going to have some form of like leveling mechanic that's unique to the DLC as well.
Really?
And he likened it to Sekiro. So with Sekiro, when you beat like a major boss, you can use like their memory or whatever to increase your attack power.
Yeah.
And so what people are theorizing at the moment with this is as a way to make it to kind of balance it a bit, because like people can come in like me, right? I can come into this DLC, massively overpowered character. How do you kind of balance things around people having these massively OP characters? And so the idea, the theorizing at the moment, if he said it's similar to Sekiro, is that you can likely power up based on things you get from bosses, and you can almost probably like customize your difficulty level in the sense that, okay, I can fight this boss now without going and fighting these other bosses, and it's going to be more challenging because it's almost like Destiny had like a light level thing, or like Dark Souls 2 had, hey, if I get these different souls, I'm going to be able to fight this major boss. I've got 3 of these Vendrick souls, I can fight this boss easier and stuff like that. So I think they have to do something, I think, and so it's interesting that they kind of found a way to balance it within the DLC itself. So it's
Yeah,
really
that
cool
would be
to see.
interesting. I mean, like, and I think one thing that we totally both agree on is like they're gonna hit it out of the park, right? Like, I don't think like is there a more certain 92 plus Metacritic score coming out than this game?
I think this is the safest bet in gaming. It's you get Shadow of the Erd Tree. If you liked Elden Ring, you're gonna like Shadow of the Erd Tree. I think it's a pretty damn safe bet.
And I do think like you look at it and you go, man, because yeah, like Miyazaki, if you look at his last say 15 years from Demon Souls, although these games are like kind of touching on the same aspects, like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, even Elden Ring, right? But they're just at such a high quality, like insane high quality. Like it's one of the rare golden runs, you know, like Miyamoto, Kojima. Like, there's very few people you can put in this category of just like fucking golden run. Like, you've gone from like an unknown person to Mount, you know, and this is a very American analogy, but like Mount Rushmore. Like, I think it's very hard to not put him on Mount Rushmore.
I'm so interested in knowing what comes next for them. It's going to be really, because it was always like, oh well, they can always go back to Armored Core. They've gone back to Armored Core, you know. So now it's like, okay, like what do they do? Do they do a new IP? You know, Miyazaki and
Well, I mean, Elden Ring's a new IP, but
no, but I was going to say Miyazaki is kind of, you know, he said in an interview that they're currently not working on a sequel, so it's.
Well, I mean, this is almost a semi-sequel. The size of it is insane.
Yeah. But it's like the assumption that the next thing is an Elden Ring 2. You can only
No, I don't think that.
So,
I don't think that at all. Do you, like, we both are not on that page, right?
No, but I'm just saying, like, then what's next?
Look, honestly, I just really hope, like, I would love if he just makes something really different. You know, like, gets out of this kind of like Souls-like category.
Oh, no, I want that Egyptian Souls-like, and FromSoft can make it instead of the Deck 13, because Atlas Fallen, decent game, but it's not a Souls-like. It's not a Souls-like. I want my Egyptian alien gods Souls-like. So
I was actually just thinking, like, who would be on the Mount Rushmore? Like, the top 4 people, like, the significant figures. Miyamoto is like a lock instantly. There's no debate that Miyamoto goes on that top 4. Agree?
Yeah, I mean,
come on, Mario, Zelda, like he's
yeah. That's not even discussion.
He's the only one who's non-debatable in my. He's like Michael Jordan. He's straight up there.
I'm just thinking, do you have representation from like your Nolan Bushnell or something like that? You know, like someone from the earlier.
Yeah, I get what your vibe of what you're saying. Yeah. Not him. I think it's almost like the Will Wrights or people like that. You know what I mean? But it's very hard. Like, I look at it and I go, I feel like Kojima's got to be pretty close.
Wait, I did not know that Nolan Bushnell not only obviously established Atari, but also Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. How cool is that? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Like, imagine being the person linked to both of them.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah. You've made your mark on these two messages.
You made your mark on the world.
To be clear, Chuck E. Cheese is not an Australian thing, but
but we know about it. That's so how big it is. Yeah.
Exactly. How did I not know that? Wow. I need to go. There's some documentary I've never watched about him that probably would have gone into that. So, wow.
So I'm even like looking at some random lists. Like Miyamoto is just like the clear number 1. No one can even touch him, right? But yeah, like I really struggle after that. I'm kind of looking at like what people are positioning as like this person, that person. I'm like,
you know what? Hold it. Maybe we should do something. Maybe we should
some research.
Maybe let's research a little bit, and maybe we do a Mount Rushmore. We do it as like an end of Bigwig on demand thing.
All right, let's end of Bigwig on demand. We're ending the on demand show again.
No, like end of the episode kind of like random thing, you know. I don't like saying special feature anymore, because it's like the idea of Bigwig on demand is that like we don't structure it.
Yeah, and I know. And you're like going, oh, can we show this on the screen? Can we do this? I go, I got no production anymore. There's no production value here. I've dumped the production. Okay, so you're playing this day 1, obviously.
I don't know.
You're such a weird cat. You love it so much. You know everything about it, and you're like, I'll get around to it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I don't always feel the need to play stuff day 1. You know.
No, look. I think out of all the unhealthy shit you have with gaming, that's the healthiest part. That you don't have to desperately play something on launch.
and then I don't buy every handheld.
And then you go back and play Genso Chronicles, a game that came out like 10 years ago.
Hey, it wasn't called Genso Chronicles at the time, so technically it just came out last week.
True, there you go. All right, well, let's move into the Nintendo Direct. So Nintendo had their partner showcase this week, the much anticipated February Direct. I don't know if people had a super negative reaction. I haven't really seen a lot online about it.
I've seen mixed in terms of like some people like, hey, this was cool, and some people like, meh. You know,
Yeah.
so I think it's a truly mixed. Because normally you say mixed, and it's probably more on the negative side. You know,
And maybe I've probably put this in the wrong order, but there might have been an effect of some of the reporting that's starting to happen around Switch 2, which it seems like there's more and more momentum that Switch 2 is actually not coming out this year. And is actually like so many credible people, pretty much the people that I rate in the industry, are all saying it's actually coming out next year, which is insane if that's the case. Like I fucking love that it's coming out next year. That's hilarious.
if they follow the timeline of what they did with the Switch, then maybe it'll end up working out well for them. You know, because didn't they? We talked about it before. Wasn't it a March release, but it was like announced in December or something?
Yeah.
So if they do a similar thing, then they get their cake and eat it too. They sell the Switches for the holiday, and then they get the Switch 2 in March.
I hope it's not March 3, 2017, because that would be, oh my God, it is March 3, 2017. That's wild that I know that day. That's scary. That's scary, dude. That's so scary. Anyway, so I think like that's already taken a lot of the edge off Nintendo this year. Because I think everyone's like waiting for like the build up. Like, when are they going to announce this? It's coming out this year. It's going to come out in September. I was adamant. It's going to come out in September. And then it's like a little wet fart. Like, what? Yeah. And I think it's really taken a lot of momentum out of Nintendo this year. Yeah, but so the Direct overall, I wasn't anticipating much from it. I always like have a secret thing of like, damn, it'd be so sick if they announced something like really crazy, like a Metroid Dread, right? And they sometimes do that. They're very good at, I was going to say the C word, C teasing you, but it's like, you know, just kind of get you going. It's like, keep you on edge. You never know what they're actually going to do. But there was a couple of things that I liked in there, but were there any things that you wanted to touch on? I think there's probably more things for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I think it's a really solid show.
I agree. Yeah, it was good. It was entertaining.
So, I mean, do we want to actually just go like in order?
Yeah, maybe the ones that you're interested in, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they opened it with announcing Grounded, which we all knew was very likely.
Which also is so anticlimactic, given all the leaking and, you know.
It was, and it lends so much validity to you basically saying that, hey, if Phil even mentioned the name of Grounded in that thing, then Nintendo were being like, we're not putting the trailer in.
They're fucking, they are like that. They do that shit.
So,
because they had Grounded, and then I know I'm skipping ahead, but they had Pentiment as well.
Yeah.
But as just a flash screen, it's like other games coming out.
Pentiment like was done a bit dirty because
it was super dirty, man.
Is really good.
No, I think that would have a better home on Nintendo than anywhere. So
and so of those 4 games that Phil mentioned for Xbox, they're the only 2 that have been confirmed for Switch. There's a very good chance the others. There are rumors that Hi-Fi Rush was pushed back or whatever because, you know, for whatever reasons. I mean, that's a pretty flashy game visually.
I don't think it's coming out on the Switch, man.
Yeah, so there's a good chance that it might not come to Switch just because they might not be able to get it to be decent.
Shit, sorry. And by the way, like, it feels like Hi-Fi Rush would be like Switch 2 and bloody poor Microsoft are like, oh, don't worry, we'll put it out on these things, and then Switch 2 is coming out this year, we'll put it out again. And then it slips again. They're like, motherfuckers.
And the thing with Sea of Thieves is, you know, it's an online game.
Too much for the Switch, I think.
Yeah, I don't. So I think they're the
Switch
2 that we're getting
Switch
on Switch.
2. Yeah.
But it was confirmed that PlayStation is getting. Were all 4 of them coming to PlayStation?
Yeah, all 4.
Yeah, so all 4. So
which looks so weird. It does, like, I know that we had this long chat about it and all this other stuff, but it just looks weird. Like, because I have Twitter, right? I'm like one of the right-wing people who use Twitter, right? And it's like, I saw it in my feed, like PlayStation Australia. Hey, look at this great game, Grounded. Or I'm like, it looks so weird. It just looks odd. Like, I can't get over it, man.
And then we had very surprise announcement of the sequel to Bigwig's game from 2021, which...
Where was our lucky code?
the sequel to Ender Lilies, which is Ender Magnolia something something something. I can't remember the subtitle.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I've written it here, Bloom in the Mist.
Bloom in the Mist. Awesome Metroidvania.
Yeah, great Metroidvania.
Kind of looks the same. Like, looks just
can I just say, can I be honest? No, sorry, Ender Lilies people. Like, we gave you Game of the Year, so we've given you enough flowers. But I have to say,
flowers. Yeah.
It doesn't, I know I meant that. It doesn't look as good as Ender Lilies from what I saw, personally.
I think the footage they chose just seemed really like questionable. Like,
yeah,
because Ender Lilies was a really pretty game in many regards, and it had awesome backdrops. And I'm like, the amount of times that I'm looking at this footage and it was just like grey ruins in the background. I'm like, if this game is similar to Ender Lilies in terms of its presentation, show some cool shit, because the game's coming out pretty soon. It's coming out like this year, so they surely they could have gotten some better footage.
Yeah, and the art style of the main character just doesn't look as good as Ender Lilies, like, to be straight up. I'm like looking at the images now and I'm like, look, I'm still going to get it. I'll get it on launch. I am a supporter of whoever this developer is. Remember when we were trying to figure it out? It's like, is it Livewire or is it Ad Globe? Because it's not Binary Haze, they're the publisher. But anyway, yeah, no, I was excited to see that. At first I was about to skip it when I was watching. I'm like, this doesn't seem my thing. And then I looked at it, I'm like, wait, this kind of reminds me of Ender Lilies. And I was like, shit, this is a sequel.
They were literally like, return to the Ender Lilies world.
No, but I saw the image. I'm very fast at my reaction time, man. I don't need long. I just need a short window of time.
All right. Yeah, and another one on our list was a remaster, remake, or whatever it is of Epic Mickey.
Yeah, I'm pumped about this, bro. I reckon my kids will love this.
I'm pumped about it. Epic Mickey, bro.
I'm catching up with one of my bro friends. So I'm getting into bro language. But yeah, I'm pumped about it. The only thing that because this is Warren Spector, right?
I believe so.
And hey, Mount Rushmore, let's put him down. Possible contender. Possible. Because I think Mount Rushmore, let's set up this not special feature. Let's get people excited about it. So I think a criteria of being on the Mount Rushmore of Bigwig, the Bigwig Mount Rushmore, is like, you can't just be like, oh, you've made some great games. You have to influence the art form. You have to I think this is going to be a downfall of some creators in my mind. Like Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann, I think, has Last of Us, stuff like that, really made like a total impact to the industry in terms of, yeah, we need more games like that. I question that.
Can we get Warren Spector and Ken Levine to do a Dragon Ball Z fusion dance, and then they occupy the same spot?
Their face is like
it's like Kenspector.
Kenspector. So it looks like a remake to me. It can't be a remaster.
Yeah, no, they said remake.
Oh, they did. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't know what I was saying there.
I was just like, I wanted to be 1 and 2. That was the only selfish thing from me.
Yeah, because the original game was a Wii game,
Yeah.
So it's definitely looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. We don't know. We know it's coming out this year, and it seems to be on everything. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, etc. So, no, it looks really sick, man. It's like, now I'm into this spot of like, do I get it on Switch or PlayStation?
Oh, you always know my answer. So
you're going on a dead platform.
No, it's more like any game.
You sure?
To clarify my position, any multi-platform game, Switch is not the best option in my opinion, unless
portability is important to me.
Unless the portability is the most important factor.
Yeah. That's portability is a factor, but now I have the additional thing of like, but do I actually? So portability is one thing. That's almost like my place portability. The second part of the portability is, do I want to play this on the train? Because some games I don't want to play on the train. Like, I just couldn't be bothered, or they're just not, like a Nier Automata, I would not play on the train. I wouldn't have the bravery to play a game like that on the train, right? So it's like, that's the other factor that goes in my head now, because I've got the PS Portal, which it's not as great as the Switch, but in some ways it's like it runs at 60 frames a second. The Switch doesn't. So But yeah, hey, I'm looking forward to this game. Like, can I ask you for being for real for a second? For real, bro.
Bro.
Do you,
Kenspector, bro.
is it not part of you that goes, do I want to keep building my Xbox library? Given everything that's going on, you know?
No, not really. Not
Okay.
really. Because because I have my Xbox library. Yeah, sorry, I have my Xbox consoles, you know, and I'm not going to lose access to my physical consoles.
Sure. Okay. Good
I think
answer.
the only time, like for me, it's more around anything outside the RPG space. I will always say, okay, should I get it on Xbox? Should I get it on PlayStation? You know, that I'm always going to ask myself that question. When it comes to RPGs, it's always going to be Xbox for me.
Fair enough. All right, good answer.
Until there is no Xbox.
Do you reckon you're going to play this game or just see how you go?
I don't know. Maybe one day.
It feels like, and not in a negative way, but it could be a potential Game Pass game in the future.
Maybe.
Yeah,
There's
it's kind of
also
got that vibe.
There's also the sequel as well that no one remembers. So
yeah, no, that's what I was thinking about when I saw it come out. I'm like, damn it! Like, I wish they really did 1 and 2 because I know 2's so well regarded. But
so
anyway.
I was just talking about RPGs, and one of the that we kind of knew about in terms of reports and stuff, but Shin Megami Tensei 5 is getting a fancy new version with new stuff in it called Vengeance, and it's also coming to other platforms as well as Switch. So I'm super pumped that I can play some Shin Megami Tensei 5 on my Xbox. So
See, I didn't know that part of the announcement. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is news to me. Breaking news.
and that's why it's always real. Like,
yeah, I know. There's 2 presentations. There's the actual presentation you watch, and then the follow-up afterwards. It's like, oh, this is also these other platforms.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so fascinated to know what the deal behind the scenes was for this game. Because it seemed like a real strong Nintendo game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't have my only history of the franchise is I've played Psychos 2 and I've played Persona 3, you know, so this will be my first mainline SMT game. So
what an interesting like journey this whole series has been on. Like Shin Megami Tensei then has a spin-off, Persona. Persona becomes insanely bigger than Shin Megami Tensei. Now that people are like, oh, I really love Persona 5. I've heard that Shin Megami Tensei is like related to that. It's like, oh, okay. It's like getting people into it. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, breaking news for me, man.
Yeah. Another cool one, although, you know, it's let's wait and see for me a little.
Yeah, I'm totally wait and see on this one as well.
Is they're bringing the old Battlefront games, Star Wars Battlefront games back out again to I think every platform. So
yeah, it's everything, cross-play, everything.
Yeah. And just for years and years, everyone talked about how cool these games were. Everyone was so disappointed number 3 got cancelled. And then, you know, the newer Battlefront games came out, and they had, you know, they had their fans, but I think a lot of people still loved those classic ones. So the fact that they're bringing them out as a collection, the 2, it's cool. You know, it's the only thing that the reason why it's wait and see for me is the fact that Aspire, I think you said, Aspire making it, and they're the mob that's behind the Knights of the Old Republic remake that is like in development hell apparently.
Yeah.
And they apparently the port of Knights of the Old Republic 2, they backtracked on their promise of
and people are so triggered by that.
Yeah, so they don't have they've got a spotty track record, but if you look at the work, they've done a lot of work on games that I like and stuff, so they're obviously a competent developer. I'm like, okay, let's see. Especially, it's like, I don't know if they have a lot of history in online games or not as well, so I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you need to like watch and wait. I do think the pricing on this is like a bit like cheeky.
How much is it?
Like, and I think this is, again, I know I'm talking a lot about price, but it's like $50 Australian. And I don't know. So it's like going to be 35 in the US. So it's pretty comparable. It's not like they're ripping us off in Australia. I don't know. It just seems a lot, you know? So even in the US, 35 US for this, I don't know, man. Seems a lot to me.
Look, just the idea that it's up to 64 player matches. I'm just like, it's I still have in this mindset of like the Switch with like a big online game. Like,
Yeah,
but
they're going to release it on the Switch, and they said it's going to be 64 players.
but the thing is, like, there's probably games that already do that, and I don't know about on the
I
Switch.
don't think so. I think they had to work really, really hard to get Fall Guys to work properly on the Switch. They were having massive issues with it. So yeah, look, I totally agree. It's a watch this space. Aspire doesn't inspire me with a lot of hope.
Oh, nice.
But you know, definitely, it's one of those games. If you guys, it seems like a Helldivers 2. If you guys were like, hey, look, let's get into Helldivers 2, I'm like, hell yeah, let's get it, right? That's not going to happen. but like,
hey, I'd try it. Helldivers 2.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
if it comes to PS Plus and I can get PS Plus for a month or something. But,
sure. It's not on PS Plus.
I don't know if it is or not.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like, so I think it's just one of those, games that would be a lot of fun. I know that we didn't highlight this game, and I didn't mention it before, but like, South Park Snow Day does look really good. I'm just behind on these new South Park games. I still got to play the RPGs. So
Do you think that looks good? I don't know. I look at that game and it doesn't look good to me, but maybe I'm not seeing what others are seeing.
I just don't know. Like, I know it's going to be different than the RPGs, totally, because different people behind it and everything. But I don't know. I feel like they've been on a bit of a roll with South Park stuff recently.
It is, but I mean, we're talking completely different mob handling this.
But am I wrong?
But I don't want to be a downer though. It's just I've been burnt by bad South Park games in the past, specifically like the 64 ones. I know that was a different era, but
that's a different era, and it was like it was cool. Like, it was novel. It was novel back then. Certainly doesn't hold up now today if you play that game. So am I wrong to say I thought Matt Stone and Trey Parker had influence in this game?
I mean, they might do, but when I say the mob, I mean like publisher, developer, and all that stuff. So
yeah, but the thing is that Matt Stone and Trey Parker were heavily involved with the RPGs. So that's what I was wondering. Like, are they involved in that? Or because if they're not, then yeah, I'm probably less. I'm more nervous about it. So
one thing I will say is I want this game to be massively popular and sell lots. Because the more money that comes to THQ Nordic means the more money that goes to Embracer Group, which means the more money to keep studios like Piranha Bytes afloat.
That's the trickle down economics.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Cool.
So Mother 3 is coming to Nintendo Switch Online in Japan, which is just it's just a saga. The West is never going to get Mother 3.
But I think the thing is, like, now that I know more about like the controversial content of it as well, it's not gonna, like, they have to remake, like, they have to like change parts of the game. Like, are they they're gonna go back and change parts of the game and then translate it and launch it? I just can't see it happening.
I don't have any context of what you're talking about. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it on the show, but just Google, some of the stuff that's in Mother 3. And it's like, I don't know if that would like fly today. I feel like it's just, yeah.
I mean, Earthbound had weird cult stuff going
on. But they actually did like change parts of Earthbound even, and Mother, the original. And it's like, yeah, I just kind of wonder if like they have to change too much or something. I don't know, but it's never going to happen. Let's get over it, people.
Yeah, I just find it funny. It's just like it just brings me joy to see. It's just like it's like a meme. It's a meme at this point.
Yeah, I don't have joy about that, but
no, I have joy about like just it's like, sometimes you find comedy and tragedy, and that's what I
like. The thing I find funny about it is when Reggie replied to one of the tweets. He literally said, "It ain't me now. It ain't me now." I'm like, that part's funny. I get it. That is funny.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. He replied to Jeff Keighley. It ain't me now.
So they had a sizzle reel, the one that was Pentiment in, and I just want to mention, so they're bringing Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, what? That game at the time it came out was like, everyone's like, man, this game looks crazy. It's like this massive game, and it's like, at the time, really good graphics and stuff. Man, that seems like an odd choice for Switch. Like, just how... I don't know. Like, maybe I'll be surprised and it runs okay. I'm not going to play it on Switch, clearly, but
you hate the Switch.
Also, I got to play it through on my Xbox first. But I'm like, man, that's just sometimes just because you can do something, you shouldn't do
Yeah,
it. You
I agree.
know?
I agree.
They're bringing some rare games to Nintendo Switch Online, which is really cool.
Now, this part of the presentation, they really like were amping it up. You could tell it was like all the rare music. And I was like, damn, what are they doing? I was like, shit, is Rare Replay coming to the Switch? Because see, if Rare Replay came, like you could buy physical Rare Replay, I'm in day one. Fucking bang. Like if that was 100 Australian dollars, I'm in. Give it to me. But
It
I almost got a bit let down because I built it up too much once I started seeing that shit.
100%, it is a shame that they're not doing a big collection, and also the fact that, look, I love Blast Core on 64, but if you've got access to an Xbox console, like the remaster on Rare Replay is like 60 frames a second, higher resolution. You know, there's no reason why I'd ever want to play the 64 version when I've got that. But I'm really happy they've finally got, you know, this is the only time they've ever put out the SNES version of Killer Instinct again. So it's kind of wild. So I'm glad.
Aren't they trying to revitalize Killer Instinct? Isn't that either
So-
a rumor or
No. So what they did a 10th anniversary update to the
that's
game.
right. Yeah.
And that's why I mentioned the other day that would be a really good candidate to put out on PlayStation eventually, because you'd find a really new audience for it. You'd probably get a bunch of money to fund possibly a sequel in the future as well.
Yeah.
But look, it's a really good step. The fact that, you know, like Snake Rattle and Roll, RC Pro, and these classic NES games are on there now. But it is a shame that they didn't say, okay, they can't bring all of Rare Replay across to Switch because there's games on there that just wouldn't probably run that well.
They have to almost remake them.
Yeah, but it would be like, okay, it's like a curated Nintendo Switch version of Rare Replay. It is a shame. And hey, look, they might do that in the future. Who knows?
Because correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Donkey Kong 64 isn't on Nintendo Switch Online, which I feel was weird.
I don't believe it is, no.
Yeah, it's still like I'm just double checking it. Yeah, it's very weird that that's not on there. I mean, it's like that was my brain. It was like, oh, I wonder like Donkey Kong 64 and like a few other games, but no.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the differences between Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 64 in terms of publishing arrangements with Nintendo.
No, they own it. They own it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the country games are on
they could put Diddy Kong Racing and Donkey Kong 64 easy. Like, that's no problems. It's stuff like Banjo-Kazooie that would need to work with Rare. So, because isn't Banjo on there? On NSO, from memory?
Yes.
But not Donkey Kong 64. Nintendo is baffling, man. They're fucking weird company.
Again, like with Blast Core, you know, if you have access, I can't say that word tonight. Access to an Xbox, like the remasters of those are the way to play it. So.
I have to say, I can never get my head out of saying Blast Corps. I know that's not what it is, but that's how I think you said that when we were kids.
Oh yeah,
I never will be able to get out of that way of saying it.
It was always Contra Hard Corps to me, you know, not hardcore.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, like the term hard corps and hardcore, like sounds like a completely different thing, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, why would you spell it this way?
Yes, which is probably a really good like play on words. Now I think about it, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. As you say it, you're like, oh, yeah. What a weird situation. So wait, we've got GoldenEye 007 on NSO. But we don't. We've got Banjo-Kazooie, but not Donkey Kong 64. Hey, I'm telling you. Remember when I said ages ago, the next Mario platformer is gonna have Donkey Kong in it? I feel like they're saving up some Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah, I hope so. And I hope those just not alluding to the Mario versus Donkey Kong remake.
That would be horrible.
So the last thing just mentioned, so they ended on announcements, a very surprise announcement of a new Endless Ocean game, which I'd completely forgotten about.
I've never heard of this series.
So it was a pretty popular Wii game, but I was never really into the Wii. Like I didn't get heavily into that library. I mean, it's published by Nintendo. It's developed by Eureka. So Eureka, I mean, I know they make bunch of fighting games, but I think they're also behind like Tetris 99, aren't they? Eureka, Tetris 99. Yeah, so it's weirdly, it's the kind of game I'd actually like to play. Yeah, Eureka make Tetris 99 and a bunch of other stuff like that. So, but yeah, there's very dedicated like a lot of people love the original Endless Ocean. So it was a cool little thing, but it was a matter of like, that's what they finished on. It was an interesting
Yeah, I was like,
choice.
what is this game? I've never heard of this game. I'm like, this looks boring as hell. But that's
Yeah,
just my view.
Erika did like Mario 35 and all that stuff. So
Yeah, my big thing was like, man, they did Pentiment so dirty in this presentation. Like they're going, let's spend a few minutes on Endless Ocean Luminous. And it's like Pentiment's just like a little flash screen. I mean, I played Pentiment. I didn't enjoy it. But that's just like what you like, you don't like, right? But I can appreciate the artistry of the game.
Yeah, I think if you got further into it, it might hook you, to be honest.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think because
I'm shocked that you say that.
With Pentiment, I think the narrative hooks don't really land in the first like hour or two. I think it's. Okay. But hey, look, not everyone's gonna like every game. It's the reality of the world.
And by the way, like I'm saying, like I think the way, like I love. It's almost like how can you do this? But it's like I love Pentiment, while I also didn't enjoy it. Like for a piece of art, I think it's awesome. I'd be like comfortable to go, this is one of the coolest games of the year, but I didn't vibe with it. So I didn't vibe with it, bro. We're going to call this the Brocast.
Yeah. So I think there was a lot in this for, it was only like 20 minutes or something, wasn't it?
23 minutes.
Yeah. So like they packed a lot in that amount of time. Yeah. Not for everyone, but it's, to me, it was they had some good stuff.
No, there's heaps of stuff like World of Goo 2, like a bunch of stuff we didn't mention. The Crab Dark Souls game, another Crab's Treasure. It feels like that's dropped off, that game.
The one that we think should be called Aggro Crab, which is the developer.
Yeah. You know what? I've kind of forgot that we had that conversation. And when it's another Crab's Adventure, or Treasure, I thought, what a shit name for a game like that. So funny that like I've forgotten that conversation, but when you said that, I'm like, I remember that we actually spoke about this.
I like it when they in the trailer they're like, one crab's trash is another crab. Like I like the
much
fact
of a setup.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you just look at the title itself,
I
know things are great. But hey, look, I know Iron Pineapple, a Big Souls YouTuber. He really liked what he'd played. I guess of like I don't know if it was an early access version or something like that. I'm excited to try it. So.
I think that game is going to live and die on, is it a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10? Because I just think the way it's all positioned, it's a bit like it won't gravitate people to it naturally, personally. But we'll see. But yeah, no, it's pretty good overall. Even that Unicorn Overload, what a fucking like weird...
Wait, so I copied this text from Reddit, right?
Yeah.
It's Overlord. And they spelt it Overload in Reddit.
Yeah, did I say Overload? I thought I said Overlord. Maybe I said Overload.
Well, it's written as Overload because that's where I copied it from. But yeah, vanilla. Like I've never.
But I love how it's Vanillaware. Yeah, Unicorn Overload Vanillaware. I'm like, fuck me. Come on, man.
I've never played a Vanillaware game. I mean, since I remember seeing the art in like Dragon's Crown and stuff, thinking, man, this just stuff looks beautiful. Like weird character proportions aside.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize that game until like last week. I didn't realize that game's coming to like even Xbox and stuff. So
yeah, it looks okay, and I love tactical role playing games. There's a demo, so I'm actually keen to play the demo and see what it's like. But again, it's $100 Australian.
I still want to try 13 Sentinels one day. So.
Yeah, that game I have tried it a little bit, and I'm like, I don't know. Some games, they just don't grip me quick enough, and then I fall off them too quick. Even Pocket Card Jockey, I keep trying to play that game. I'm like, I think if I'd played it a little bit more, I'd get hooked on it. So,
yeah, there's also a new like poker roguelike game out at the moment that I want to try called, I think it's Balatro, which has got really good reviews. That I'm just keen. Like, it just looks like it could be really addictive. Yeah, Balatro just came out. Very highly regarded.
Interesting. So. What is it? Because I see it's on Steam, but is it on other stuff or?
It's on Switch. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I it's like Slay the Spire
and Xbox as well. I just So
yeah, like there's some of these games like you get into it and it's like holy shit, it's so good. But yeah, no, really good like overall, I thought the partner direct they didn't like build it up on their end. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
it wasn't like they were like, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was pretty decent. And then like the last thing I wanted to mention, because this only came out today, and I've been whinging about this forever
Hmm.
with the PSVR 2, which we kind of both felt like this shit is dead. Like if you asked both of us, I think like maybe 2 months ago, feels like they just put it out to die, the PSVR 2.
Well, when we did our hey, what do we think is going to happen this year? I
Yeah, yeah,
predicted that they will essentially just silently sunset
yeah.
PSVR 2 as a focus for PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my biggest pet peeves is like, okay, you've got only the PSVR 2 games. You can't play any of the PSVR games. They're not backwards compatible. And it's like you're stuck on a very tight library and you can't use it for your PC. I'm like, and people were trying to mod it and hack it. And I'm like, I don't like meta. So I just refuse to get a meta quest. And the Valve index and stuff, it's way too expensive.
Hmm.
And I'm never going to get the Apple Vision thing. And I'm a bit like, fuck it. Like, there's nothing that's good enough and workable. And then randomly, like, well, number one, randomly, they had that whole state of play stuff and had a whole bunch of VR stuff.
Hmm.
Like, oh, all these VR stuff's coming out. It's like, okay, interesting. It's not dead. They've actually specifically put a whole bunch of time into it. And then randomly on PlayStation blog today, they just were like, oh, hey, here's even more like PSVR 2 stuff coming out. And by the way, what's the statement? It's like, I like to share that players will have access to additional games on PC. I was like, wow, what?
Hmm.
And their support's coming this year. What a weird statement. Don't you think that's so weird? That's like so not Sony. Sony doesn't do shit like that.
I'm not across what was the situation with the first PlayStation VR. Did that ever have
No,
PC support?
no. People hacked it to make it work, but it was like built, like they specifically were building it like so you couldn't do it.
Do we think, or like, I'm just throwing this out there, that they're doing this to help move units in terms of like, okay, nothing's really moving the needle with this? And I will say fully upfront, I don't know sales numbers for PlayStation VR.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going off the fact that no one talks about it.
So, but like, this is, I mean, like, not to toot my own horn, but it's like, remember when it came out, and I'm like, I don't understand why they're being difficult about putting it with PC compatibility, because if anything, that helps them compete. Because it, like with PSVR 2, they need people to have units of it, right? Because if you have a PSVR 2 unit and you can play PC and PlayStation 5, then you're more likely to buy games on PlayStation 5, right? But if you have a MetaQuest or something like that, you're not buying PlayStation 5 VR games, right?
Yeah.
So I think it helps you with scale. It helps you with everything. Like it's not to me a competitive thing. It's actually, it helps you. Because like now I'm in a spot where I'm like, yeah, this is interesting. Like if this works well, I probably am more likely to get it actually. Because it's like, well, I could play Alex on it and like a whole bunch of other stuff.
Do you think if the PlayStation VR 2 blew up and was massively popular, do you think they would have done this?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, not at all. That's not.
Okay.
Sony's MO is they get arrogant, then they go, no one else can use our format. Like Betamax, like MD, like how many, like there's so many formats that they've created, like no one else can access, right? They're dickheads. Like I'm amazed still that they won the day on Blu-ray. Like so, like I didn't think that Blu-ray would win out. Like
My condolences to a few of our
Yeah,
friends
yeah.
of the podcast on the death of HD DVD.
Yeah, I mean, like that was a kind of crazy situation because it was, from memory, it was kind of like Sony versus everyone else.
I wonder. I have to ask Mike. I don't know if he's going to listen to this, but we'll have to ask Mike if
He won't. I should give you a short answer. He's not.
If he still has any HD DVDs or not.
I think he does. I think he does. I think I saw them because it's like I see the logo. I'm like, this. It feels like an alternate reality. You know what I mean? It's like Blu-ray didn't exist in HD DVDs. But I mean, like, what a weird generation to win anyway. Blu-ray, like, not many people have Blu-rays. Like, how many Blu-rays do you have?
I just got the consoles that can play Blu-ray.
Yeah, so,
stuff,
yeah, discount them.
I don't own a single Blu-ray disc.
Yeah, no
like
Blu-ray
or
movie.
anything.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
But
no,
how
no.
many DVD movies would you have bought?
Oh, heaps.
Exactly.
Heaps.
That's the
Yeah,
difference, right? So
yeah.
it's like even if you win the war, it doesn't matter. Like win the battle, the war's over. Yeah, I'm like super interested to see this. Like there's a couple of things to know about Sony. Sony is shit at this kind of stuff. Like Microsoft's really good at this kind of stuff. Sony's really shit at this kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they can't get this working in 2024, being Sony. Like Sony are shit at this kind of stuff, like building drivers, making sure it works on all different configurations. Like they are crap at that. So, but if it works really well and I can get like a PS VR2 unit for cheap, I'm kind of a bit like, because I really want to get back into Half-Life Alyx, to be honest. That game was fucking sick, bro.
This would entice me,
Really?
as well.
Interesting.
Well, because I've always wanted to try VR, but the problem with the PSVR 2 was the whole thing. It's like, okay, so if I get this PSVR 2, I can't even play Astro Boy, which was like their big VR thing.
We still can't play it. You still can't play it.
And
no, if you get a PSVR 2, you still, you can't play
it. No, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that would change with this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it feels like, wait, I know that there was a big shift in technology between the two.
Don't give them the excuse. If it was,
but
to be fair to Microsoft, they would have figured it out on Microsoft.
But that feels like, man, like especially if you're a PSVR 1 user and you really liked it, the fact that you're like, I have to leave that library behind to be able to move to the next one, so I have to retain 2 headsets.
It's so dumb. I know. It's actually unforgivable. I think like when they're going, oh no, it has this and that, I'm like, there's definitely like if they cared about it, they would have figured out compromises.
But shout out to Sony, if they get this working, this will unlock a lot more for the people that own these systems. So.
Yeah, I think if you're like a diehard PlayStation VR person, you must be buoyed by the fact that like they are like genuinely pushing it a lot more. They're talking about it a lot more. They're talking about games that are coming out more, and they're doing more with it. Like, okay, we're gonna bring it to PC. Like I didn't. There's 2 things I didn't think Sony would do this generation. One was like make PSVR 2 compatible with PC. And then 2, and they still haven't done the second one, allow you to fucking use DualShock 4 controllers on PS5 games. The fact that they don't allow that is the biggest crock of shit. It fucking actually pisses me off, man.
It's so annoying as well because I would love to get I'm more of a fan of the offset analog stick configuration, and there's plenty of DualShock 4 offset third-party
compatible,
yeah. But there aren't any PS5 ones, and it's
really?
That I won't say I've probably checked in the last 6 months if there's any new stuff, but every time I look up offset stick third-party controllers, they're always PS4.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man.
Actually, like PS5 has been they've been a bit belligerent with the compatibility. Like a lot of fight sticks don't work properly on the PS5.
Well, you know what they also did is they blocked usage of the Corona Zen adapter.
Yeah, but I kind of agree with that because it's used for cheating.
It's a tricky thing because it has a lot of purposes. It had a lot of purposes, right? The unfortunate part is it can be used for cheating. Now, I have a Corona Zen for my Xbox and I use it all the time. You know why?
For cheating?
No, I don't use it for...
I'm kidding. You're not like, you don't play those games.
The reason is because you can't get, from what I can find, any decent turbo controllers for...
No, because they
for
really...
Xbox One.
Oh, for Xbox One. Okay.
For Xbox One or beyond, because these Cronus Zen kind of adapters basically ate that market because, well, you don't need a turbo controller because any controller can be a turbo controller now, and you get a lot more functionality with it. So now if Xbox turns around and also does the same, I'm like, well, then I bloody hope someone puts out a bloody turbo controller because that's what I want it for. So the really shitty part about it is that, we're playing Battlefield, talking about Battlefield, the fact that people use a Corona Zen to make it so that when you shoot a shotgun, it will automatically adjust the control stick for the recoil. So basically, there's no recoil. The people. Okay, I'm gonna download a Corona Zen pack for Call of Duty where there's basically makes it so every time I shoot there's 0 recoil.
Yeah, I hate
You
that
know,
shit. That's why.
oh,
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's horrible. I wish that there was a way that they could block it for usage online and stuff like that. But
it's a really
anyway.
interesting topic. I mean, another special feature because I don't know if you saw, but one of the biggest Destiny 2 players, he's like set a bunch of world records. He's been banned for 10 years on Destiny 2 because you know how like these rootkits that these games install on your computer found that a totally different single player game that he's playing, he had hacked it. So they're like, he's hacked this single player game. It's not an online game, it's a single player game. He's hacked it. And because he's hacked that game, we don't trust him. So we banned him from Destiny 2 for 10 years.
Yeah, no, that seems very bullshit.
Seems like overreach. It's like, I get it if it's like, yeah, maybe if you're doing that in any multiplayer game, that's totally different. But if it's a single player game, whatever, who cares? But yeah.
By the way, Destiny's one of those 360 games I bought the other day because I never bought it.
Oh, Destiny.
I never bought Destiny.
Did Destiny 2 come out on 360? No.
Not
right?
Destiny 2, no.
Xbox
but
One.
the weird thing is I don't think I'm actually going to play it. I just want it. So it's right. I basically want to own every physical 360 RPG you can. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to...
Even the regions, or you don't care about the regions?
I own all the regions and stuff. So
no, I'm saying like the regions, or
no, the regions have stacks. So that's why I'm clarifying, right?
Regions that have stacks. What does that mean?
They have different achievement lists.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm like
you're talking like, fucking. You're talking.
Yeah, people use wrestling. People use wrestling lingo without realizing. I use achievement lingo.
Can I say that heal is almost becoming in the lexicon of like a regular life now?
Oh yeah, like people.
That's amazing to me. Babyface not, but heal, yes.
Like heel turn, work.
Yeah,
shoot,
heal is getting there.
Kayfabe.
No, that's not. That stuff's not getting in. But I know what those words are.
I hear that stuff all the time. I hear that stuff all the time.
No, they're not. What I'm saying is
the people I listen to.
Yeah, the wrestling people, of course, using wrestling terms. But yeah, for sure, like heal is coming in as like a real word that you can use. Like what a heel. I'm like, isn't it purely from wrestling? Like I'm kind of amazed that that's coming into the culture.
I don't know. I don't know the etymology of it.
Well, that's unacceptable.
I don't. What do you think? I spend my time on useless shit already. I'm not going to add
to it. You started to go down the line of what do you think I'm doing? Spending my time playing fucking Chemco games, motherfucker.
Hey, Hit Point makes some decent games.
Oh, by the way,
I'll go to bat for Hit Point.
Another special feature, Chemco, the update.
The weird, what's stopping me from saying, "Hey, let's do it," is because I want to.
Don't scare the fans. Don't scare the fans. They're gonna get angry at you.
Not only do I want to catch up, and the thing is, right, a new game gets released, I'll complete it within a couple of days. It's released, right? I do that all the time at the moment, generally. But there's a few strategy RPGs. Strategy RPGs are the ones that
catching you.
So all the 360 I'd say 80% of 360 RPGs I haven't done are all Japanese strategy RPGs. It takes a lot for me to sit down and play a strategy RPG. So, although I do like my Fire Emblem, so anyway.
I'm trying to find the leaderboard. Are you still up there on the leaderboard of Chemco? You're third now. What's happened? You're slipping.
Yeah. Because I haven't done those strategy RPGs.
I just love how you're actually on there. It's so insane to me.
It's always that person at the top. No, trust me.
Wait a second. Is this true achievement score or actual achievement score?
What are you talking about?
Oh, holy shit. You've got 56,000 gamer score just from Chemco games.
Yeah.
That's madness. Yeah. That's madness.
And to be clear, these games are like 10 to 15 hour RPGs.
Dude,
they're not like half an hour.
Okay, you got a weird number as well. So you're getting through one at the moment, are you? Or you've like put one on the back burner?
Well, I mean, Gensler Chronicles I'm playing at the moment. So.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's because the top guy, Lorfavis, is that how you say his name?
So that person's taken over. It used to be the number 2 there, the Eladia there.
Eladia. Oh, so who's this new person?
No, they're not new. I'm just saying they're clearly putting in the work.
They're putting in there. Yeah, they care. They care. You know what? I swear, this would be a good use of my money. I feel like getting some.
I wish
kind
you. By the way, I wish you could show this on the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. By the way, if people want to, so you search for true achievements, leaderboard Chemco. You can see Sweeney's listed third in the world. This maniac, this sick maniac.
But and you see that the most of the ones I haven't done are either strategy RPGs or they're just so bad that it's like struggle to get through them. Like Chrome Wolf. Do not. Here's a spoiler for the tier list. Do not buy Chrome Wolf.
Oh, there you go. You see, the people need it. The people need your advice. The amount of people I see commenting, we never read the comments. It's like once in a blue moon, a comment will pop up. And it's like, oh, thank God I got this. There was a bundle sale. Now I can figure out what to play. And
did I tell you what they did with the Chemco games?
What?
They made a bundle for like $200.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Someone was commenting about it, going like, I'm so glad for this video.
Yeah. It was like the most insane. And I'm like, man, the amount of money I spent versus what you can get from this bundle.
Oh, yeah, true. That's true.
I can't find it.
Maybe that's this guy, Law Favis. Maybe he's the smart guy. So, I had this thing in my brain. I'm like, hey, wait a second. Could I just pay some person in China to play all these Chemco games for me under my name?
You could
just to get them to go to number one on the leaderboard. And not tell you, and then one day you're looking at the leaderboard and number one on Chemco it's Intercot. I just think that would be the funniest moment.
That would be so bloody funny. You'd have to. It's like, I wonder how much someone would charge you, because that is as much as these games aren't massive, that is a lot of time.
Because wait, 61,000. So there's 61 Chemco games on this list, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So then we're talking about like,
how do we get back to Chemco?
Then we go 15 hours per game, you reckon?
And some more, but yeah, let's say on average. 15.
And then I say $10 an hour is probably, it cost me like $10,000 to get this person to do it. That's almost worth it, I have to say. It's almost worth it. $10 an hour. It's almost worth it. I'm serious.
Oh,
that's kind of amazing, actually. That's also kind of funny for you to think about it, of your life that you've invested in this insane series.
I think about it all the time.
So wait, are there 61 games? Oh no, there's 62 games. Oh, I love my reaction. I love my own reaction. There's 62 games. So no one has completed it.
Well, again, like one came out in the 16th. So.
Wow. There you go. There's space in the market to compete on this.
And by the way, this list includes 2 visual novels.
That you've beaten, right?
Yes. I had to use my Japanese account to purchase.
Hang on a second. I'm looking at this thing. You've played 59 of them?
Yeah.
What, you just dropped a couple of them? What's going on?
Yeah, I told you, like, Chrome Wolf, man.
It's so bad.
I can only stand it for like half an hour, and I'm like, I gotta play something else.
You need my my you need my people in China to help out.
Yeah, how do we get to?
What are we talking about actually? PSVR 2 on PC. All right, that was it for the show for me. Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No. At some point, I'd like to play that game, but we'll see whether or not we can figure out. Maybe next time.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about. The guessing game.
Yeah. I think it'd be good fun. Test our visual knowledge of video games. But
so
unfortunately,
the problem is, like, I've got 2 monitors, but I've failed to set up one of the monitors. I just haven't set it up. And the stupid thing is, I installed the 1080p monitor first, and I've got a 1440p monitor just sitting there doing nothing. I should have installed the bigger monitor. It makes no sense what I did. I was like, I'll get around to doing that, and I just never did. So I've literally been using my PC for like a year on a 1080p, like 24-inch monitor. It's like the smallest monitor you could use. But yeah.
Well,
all right.
You got some homework.
With that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.